Hey folks, I'm here with Bryce here today. There's a really interesting question we were talking about, which is that it turns out some of the interesting things that women do with their faces and cosmetics can end up being something that's really helpful as an accessibility option. So Bryce, can you tell me a little bit about what you were talking about with synesthesia?
Certainly. I'm a synesthete,
Okay.
which means that my sensory cortices are a little bit miswired.
Sure. Okay, cool.
Specifically, what I hear, my auditory cortex. I'm trying to think of how to express this.
Take your
What
time.
I hear translates as visual distortions, sen- tactile distortions, which means that I feel sounds, emotional distortions, which means that certain sounds cause me to feel in unusual ways.
All right.
For example, there are certain frequencies in violin music that make me cry spontaneously, even though
Alright.
even though there's no reason for me to feel sad.
Okay.
And
Good.
kinesthetically, which means that I feel sounds as if my limbs were moving, or as if limbs I didn't have were moving.
Okay.
So there are certain melodies that cause me to feel as if my back muscles are moving when I
Fascinating.
can't consciously move my back muscles.
All right. Skeletal muscles, I think, or heart muscles, I think they call them when you don't consciously move them. Can
Yes.
you tell me what I think we just sort of barely dipped into this conversation, but one of the things that Bryce mentioned to me was that for someone who is a synesthete, it is often helpful actually to have bright lipstick on lips. He sat close to me, and I thought to myself, and asked him, do you perhaps have any issues with hearing? And actually Bryce said,
Because of the visual distortions from hearing sounds,
fascinating.
it becomes easier to read your lips if your lips are in high contrast to the rest of your face, and if
Really?
I can see them square on.
That is a really fascinating, interesting thing about. I just never thought before about lipstick. I often just thought about it as something that I did or was a personal branding issue. I'd never thought about it as an accessibility hack, I think, in a lot of ways. So, is there anything else about perhaps high contrast and sounds that is helpful to someone who has synesthesia in the way that you do?
High contrast colors help me
Cool.
to stop focusing on what other sounds look like other conversations or other noises, street noises, air conditioning, stuff like that, and focus on the conversation at hand.
Huh.
It causes me to remain focused on the conversation, and also it assists in lip reading.
Very interesting. Thank you. Really, I appreciate that. I love these perspectives, and I love just finding interesting pieces of information about this, especially that can help people understand other people. Thank you, Bryce.
Glad I could help.
Awesome.